All right, so let's visit compound interest. So far, all the problems we did in compound interest was, where I gave you either to find the principal amount or to find the amount at the end of 2 years. Well, now we're going to look at something different, right? So now we're going to look at what happens if I don't know how much time it's going to take, right? So after how many years is my money? So for example, in this case, how long is it going to take for my money to double, right? If I invest it at 8% compounded continuously. All right. Now notice here this is different from the other problems we've done because I haven't given you any amount. It doesn't tell you how much I've invested. Okay. All I want to know is I've invested some amount. How long is it going to take for that money to double? Okay. So let's see what we have first. So first of all, it's compounded continuously, which means I'm going to use my formula A equals P e to the RT. Okay. So let's see what we have. We don't know what A is. That's what, right? So we don't know what A is. We don't know what P is really, okay? We know R is equal to 8%, so 0.08, and then we need to find the time. That's what we want to find. Well, but do we really need A and P is the question. So I want my money to double. So if I invested $1,000, I want my money to become $2,000, right? If I invested $100, I want money to become double, that is $200. So if I've invested P amount, well, A has to become 2 times P because that's what doubling is. So if I substitute here, I get 2P equals P times E to the 0.08 T, right? If I divide by P on both sides, right, if I divide by P, that cancels out, and I get 2 equals E to the 0.08 T. Now, so far, recollect all the equations that we've solved, right? All of the ones that we solved, our variable that we are solving for was always in the base. Now our variable is up here in the exponent. So in order to solve this, I'm going to have to get that variable down to the base. Well, how do I do that? If you recall your last 2 rules of logs, right, they were the inverse function properties. And it said that, one of the rules said that, well, log of a to the x, right, base a is equal to x. All right. And so here, if I take ln on both sides, right, because my base is e, if I take ln on both sides, I get ln of 2 is equal to, right, if 2 numbers are equal, where the log values have to be equal, so ln of 2 is going to be ln of e to the 0.08 t. Okay, so the ln and the e sort of cancel each other's effect out, and so what I get here is I get 0.08 t equals ln 2. Okay, so how do I find t? Well, I divide by 0.08, so I get t equals ln 2 divide by 0.08, and that comes out to about 8.66 years. Okay, so at that interest rate of 8%, it's going to take 8.66 years for my money to double, regardless of the amount, right? It's good. If I put in $100, it'll still take 8.66 years to become 200. If I take $1,000 or $10,000, it'll still take 8.66 years to double.